Hello and welcome. My name's Jennifer Lyall and I'm with Liv Healthy, and I am so honored to have this conversation with you around how to pick a far infrared mat and what are the best features, the most important aspects and features of the products for you to evaluate as you're trying to make a choice for you. I am with Liv Healthy, and I have been working with the far infrared biomat, the Amethyst Biomat that's made by Richway since 2008. The reason why I have created this video is because for me as a consumer, I have been really frustrated with a number of different choices that I've gone to make, buying a new washing machine, buying a toaster oven. There's so much information that's out there, it's hard to distinguish what is true. That's why I'm providing you with this information. Now, I am an independent sales associate for the Richway Biomat. I have not personally seen all of the other products that are out there. I am going to be providing you with some information on things to look for as you are doing your research so that you can make an informed decision. I've been working with the Biomat since 2008. It's been on the market for over 20 years, so it's a really durable product. The first one that I have is still being used by my mom, so that's over 10 years old. It's really, really good. Now, you have to take care when you are doing your research. There are so many websites that are out there that are shopping websites where they have Amazon accounts and say they call themselves a review website, but they just have a paragraph or two of information about a product, and then they just link to their Amazon account. There are some reviews that are out there that look like they've got really good quality information, but then and the average consumer won't know this, but then they have incorrect information, which is really misleading. So for instance, there's one article that I've seen that talks about the Biomat's controller being like a tablet, where it doesn't look anything like a tablet. So it makes me wonder then, how accurate is the rest of the information that she's providing? I want you to be an educated consumer. I want you to think about what is the source of the information that you're getting, and then also consider why they're providing it. Now, I'm going to be full disclosure here. I'm providing you this information because, number one, of my own frustrations as a consumer. I want to make sure you get what's right for you. I want you to understand what the features are and the things to look for and what they mean for you and things that you might not think about. And then if you discover that the Biomat is the right one for you, I would love for you to consider reaching out to me to place your order. Okay, so let's dive right in and review the most important aspects and features of the different products so that you can make an informed decision as to what is the best one for you. The first area that I invite you to look at as you're reviewing different far infrared pads is the surface material. You will notice that there are some that have a mesh, and that is really cool in that it's kind of like hot stone therapy when you would go see a massage therapist. Your body, if you choose to use the far infrared pad with no clothes on, your body would then be in direct contact with the stones, which is good. However, I would caution you at using it at high temperatures. You'll want to definitely read the owner's manual regarding that. The part that's kind of gross about that is that you're also sweating directly onto those crystals too, onto that mat, and your sweat's all going to get into that mat. The other thing to be aware of with the mesh is that it can get caught on jewelry, on a clasp on a necklace, on a bracelet, on a ring, on a belt, on a button as well. So a zipper, if you have any of that on the clothing that you're wearing, it could snag it and it could rip the mesh. So please take care with that and think about how you're going to use it. The other thing to think about with the mesh material is that it's less material that's there to hold the crystals in the mat. So over a lifetime, that will get worn out more easily. Now, some surface materials are synthetic and they look really nice. However, you have to take into consideration that oftentimes there are a lot of the far-infrared mats that also boast that they give off negative ions. Synthetic materials give off positive ions. So if you're choosing a product that gives off positive ions and the negative ions was a really important feature for you, then it doesn't really make sense to get a product that's made with synthetic materials. So you'll want to make sure that the surface quality, surface material is a natural product. For the biomat, this is the mini biomat here. The professional biomat looks much the same in that the surface is a really durable denim, like cotton. So it's really durable like how denim jeans are. It's not denim, but it is that kind of level and of thickness and durability of material. The biomat also comes with a cotton cover in addition, so that you can toss this into the wash, so you can more easily keep the mat clean. Now you'll also notice that there is a see-through window, and this see-through window ends up being the weakest part on the mat, because with repeated high temperature use, it can start to get brittle, and this is where there is weakness and crystals can fall out. I've received phone calls from people who've had their biomats for over 10 years and 15 years, 20 years, and the crystals are now falling out, and unfortunately there is no quick fix for it. Now, the biomat that I purchased back in 2008 is still being used, and there is no sign of wear and tear on the windows. So it really depends on how you intend to use it. If you intend to use it at the highest temperature settings more often, then that's when you're going to see more potential for crystals to leak out of here. The next thing that you're going to want to look at is the quality of the construction. There are some that are very flexible when you look at them, and they're very thin, which is great having the flexibility, because if you want to be able to wrap it around a particular area, then the flexibility is key. Now this biomat is a couple of years old and it is still quite flexible. It's been kind of broken in, but it's thick. Like there's 17 layers of material in this product. It's gorgeous and it's really well made. Beautiful brass design on the back, really heavy duty construction holding all those layers together on the edges. So when you are looking at a product, look at how many layers of material. If it's something that's less expensive, it probably has fewer layers. Now there are some websites that you mentioned that this product has 17 layers of material in it. There are some websites that will say it has up to 21 layers, but then for the specific products, they might not actually break down how many layers of material there are in that specific product that you're looking at. So just call. They'll provide you that information. So always call the manufacturer if you have any questions and get the answers directly from them, because that's how you're going to get the most accurate information. I've been a distributor for over 10 years, and I'm able to answer your questions with whatever you might have regarding the Biomat and Richway's product line. So look at the number of layers of material that there are in the product. That's also a sign of the quality and the durability of the product. Now, if there are fewer layers, then sure, it might be more flexible. That might meet your needs, and that's perfect. But also take a look. What are they missing? Are you missing a waterproof layer? There is a just basic waterproof layer in the Biomat, just to kind of try to protect it from a bit of sweat. It is not waterproof. You could not spill a cup of water on it or anything of that nature. But there is a bit of waterproofing that's within it to help from if sweat does get on it. It could be missing layers of EMF protection. And if that's something that's really important to you, then you want to know that and help you evaluate your choices by whether or not it has the extra EMF protection. The next thing that we're going to look at are the crystals that are within the mat. The Biomat is made with amethyst crystals and black tourmaline. Now, in the mini biomat, the black tourmaline occurs as every other layer within each ridge. There's also an additional layer called the toka catch layer, tourmaline catch layer, which has black tourmaline in the weave of the material. That toka catch layer is also within every single model of the biomat. You'll see that some products have jade, which is fantastic. It's really good for giving off far infrared rays. When Richway first made their biomats, they first started with jade. However, they are always on the leading edge and wanting to create new products that provide the greatest health benefits for their customers. So in their research, they discovered that the amethyst crystals actually refracted the far infrared rays in a much better form. And that's why they discontinued making the biomat with jade and they focused on amethyst crystals. The black tourmaline you'll find in a number of products because it's known for its very grounding effects and for giving off negative ions. Other key features you're going to want to look at include the warranty. Most far infrared pads have a warranty period of anywhere between 1 year to 3 years. The Richway Biomat is for 3 years, so typically the length of warranty is also an indicator of the quality of the product. Some companies also offer a trade-in. So let's say you've had your far infrared pad for a number of years and you decide that you want to upgrade to a new one. There's some new features that have been added. From the manufacturer that you've purchased it from, of course, then a lot of companies do offer a trade-in option where you can get credit for what you paid for your original product towards the purchase of a new one. So with the biomat at this time, you can get a 30% credit towards the purchase of a new model of a biomat. Next, as you're evaluating far infrared pads, be sure to look for the temperature settings. So on the controller, you'll be able to see the different temperature settings, and within the literature for the product information, you should also see the temperature range. Typically, the lowest end of the range will be just below body temperature, and then it will go up to, oftentimes it's around 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 70 degrees Celsius. There are some really interesting far infrared pads out there that look so cool with double-sided. So it looks like you can have crystals, one type of crystals on one side and the other types of crystals on the other side. I encourage you to be cautious and look into this a little bit more and again, be an educated consumer. Most far infrared pads, or at least the biomat, has a layer of material to reflect the heat up to your body. You don't want the heat to be wasted going down below you and to cause any damage to any of the surface of the material that's below you. If you have a far infrared pad that has the heat going both up and down, right, because if it's dual-sided, then it might, I'm assuming it would have heat going in both directions, then you're also heating the surface down below you and you're not maximizing the amount of temperature that would go up towards your body. So just look into that a little bit more and be cautious. Also beware of inconsistent heating over the surface of the mat. The biomat actually comes with a cotton cover, and it also helps with keeping the heat surface temperature consistent across the entire product. A timer feature is very handy for your far infrared pad. When I first got my mini biomat back in 2008, it did not have a timer. And the reason why this is handy is because you can have it on for a specified period of time and then it'll automatically turn off. The newer mini biomats do have a timer, and it's the same timer settings that is on the professional size, queen, and single and king size biomats as well. You can set it for 2, 4, 8, or 12 hours. What this means is that The biomat will be on for whatever temperature setting that you have set it for that length of time. However, with the biomat, there is an extra safety precaution, safety feature, where if the temperature is over 113 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 4 hours, it will bring the temperature down to 113 degrees for the duration of the timer period, and then we'll shut it off for whenever the designated time for you to turn it off. For me, why this is helpful is I sleep on a professional biomat. So what I do is I turn it on for 2 hours before I go to bed. It warms up, and then once I get into bed, I know that the temperature is going to turn off while I'm asleep. So I don't want the heat on all night. It'll just be too hot for me, so it will turn off. For practitioners, this is really helpful because you can have the biomat turned on for an 8-hour period and then it'll turn off automatically. So if you forget to turn it off, then you know that it will turn itself off at the end of the day. So just take a look to see if the far infrared pad you have has a timer feature. If it doesn't, you could really get a timer from a hardware store and plug it into that. It's just a little different because you would have to say, okay, at 5 o'clock turn it on and at 6 o'clock turn it off, or whatever time frame. It works more so, those types of timer work for you setting it on at a particular hour and then turning it off at a particular hour, so it works a little bit differently. EMF blocking is another important feature to look for. This is where there is technology within the far infrared pad to actively block the electromagnetic frequency that is just going to be there for any device that gets plugged into the wall. You see, everything that gets plugged in is going to give off some sort of EMFs. But a lot of far infrared products, and definitely the Richway Amethyst Biomat, has some protective mechanisms in place to help minimize the amount of EMFs that get released. The quality of electricity varies by city, and that will also impact the type of EMFs and the levels of EMFs that are detected. With what you're going to look for is you want to make sure that you look for ones that have EMF blocking. So for instance, the biomat has layers of material within the makeup of the mat itself, within the 17 layers, to block the EMFs. It also has technology within the control unit to also help block EMFs. And you also want to look for, this is something that you might not think about, you want to look for where is the plug on the product. If EMFs is something of concern, then you want to make sure that the plug, because this is the weakest part of where EMFs might be detected. You can go ahead and watch some different videos. There are a number of them that evaluate the EMFs that are given off by different far infrared mats. The weakest part is right here. When you look at the readings for the biomat, you'll see like there's stuff right close to the plug, but then it drops right off. So if you are going to choose a far infrared pad and you are concerned about EMFs, please, please, please be sure to pick one so that you can position the plug as far away from your body as possible. There are some that don't have it in a convenient place to put away from you, so just watch for that. The next aspect of the far infrared pad that you're evaluating that you want to review is where is the product made. The highest quality far infrared pads are made in Korea. They've been making them there, like the biomat's been made in Korea since 1997. In more recent years, China has been making newer versions of far infrared pads. So as you are looking for your product, look at where the product is made. You can determine this by, often on the website, it will clearly state that it's made in Korea. You can also look at some of the sample testing reports that are presented, and on those reports it will indicate where the manufacturer is, and so if it says China, then obviously that product line is, or that product is made in China. If it's Korea, then that product is made in Korea. And some websites you just can't see it. Some websites are for companies that are based in the States, and you might have the impression that the product is made in the States, but do a little digging, see what you can find, and if you don't see it spelled out for you, just call. But they really want you to make sure that you have the information as well to make a good decision, so just call and get that answer. The next aspect that you're going to want to consider as you're evaluating far infrared pads is the size. The great news with there being so many different products on the market is that there are a lot of different sizes. You can find wee little ones that are like the size of a typical drugstore heating pad, all the way up to ones that are the size of an entire king-size bed, which is fantastic. So think about, how are you going to use this far infrared pad? One of the things that my clients notice, that they've gone from using a typical drugstore heating pad and upgrade it to a biomat, and what they love is that they don't have to keep shifting a little pad to all the different places of where they need the attention on their body, where they might be experiencing pain or stiffness, or where they might want to improve the circulation. They don't have to keep shifting around that heating pad, because the biomat, at the smallest one there is the mini biomat, and that's about 19 inches by about 30 inches. So that fits really nicely on a chair. You can wrap it around a leg, you can wrap it around an arm. It's going to be a little bit big for it, but you still can wrap it around these different body parts. And you can sit on it and it can cover your entire back. It can get right under your hips, under your thighs. So it's nice to have a product that's large enough so you don't have to keep moving it around, because if you're sitting down and relaxing, reading a book, watching a movie, you don't want to have to keep shifting. You want to just focus on what you're doing. So if you have a larger mat, you might find that that meets your needs better. If you want to sleep on a mat, then you're going to want to look at one that will fit the length of your bed. In the Richway Biomat product line, you would be looking at the professional size, which is the size of a massage table, or a single size, which is the size of a single bed, queen or king. Special tip, if you are tall, you are going to want to double check the length of the far infrared pad, because there are fewer pads that will be long enough for you. In the Richway lineup, you'd have to look at the single biomat or the queen or king. So the single would be the smallest one, that'd be the right length for you. So think about how you want to use it, where you want to use it. Do you want to be lying down? Do you want to be sitting up? Do you want to have it wrapped around a particular area? Look at the size for you. And then also think about the firmness of it. The biomat does come with the cotton cover, which helps a bit for the comfort level of it. And if you feel like you want to be able to sleep on it, because you can also have the benefits of the crystals without any heat, to make it super comfy for sleeping on, Richway also makes a quantum energy pad, which is a really thick mattress topper that's been designed to work synergistically with the biomat, the far infrared biomat. So there's a back layer that's mesh that allows the far infrared rays and negative ions to pass through, and this luxuriously soft cover that's really thick, so it adds an extra layer of comfort. And then there are the elastics that will allow it to attach easily to your biomat so it doesn't shift. I sleep on the quantum energy pad. I could not imagine not sleeping on the quantum energy pad now, since I've been doing it for so many years. The last thing that you want to evaluate as you're looking at all your different options is, of course, the price. Now, you get what you pay for, like everything, whether you're looking at a vacuum cleaner, a blender, a washing machine, a car, whatever, you get what you pay for. And the biomat is a premium product. It is built to last. And as I've mentioned a few times, my mini biomat that I first got 11 years ago is still working. Now that varies based on how you're using it. A practitioner who uses it in their clinic 8 hours a day will likely see a different life of the product, just because it's getting used a whole lot more. but the one that's being used right now, my mom's using it and I used it, it cost the equivalent of $4 a month or $50 a year with how long this has lasted. So if you're looking at a less expensive product because that's all you can afford in your budget, then great. You know, a far infrared pad is a really amazing product and it will help you, I believe, get more benefits than a typical heating pad will. So by all means, do get one. However, if you are wavering between a couple of products, I encourage you to think about how long the product is going to last. So sometimes it's better to spend a little bit more to have something that's going to last longer, especially if it's a tool that you feel like you're going to be using a lot. Because if you end up not being able to use it for as long as you had hoped and then you have to replace it, you'll notice a big difference when you don't have that resource, that tool at your fingertips. So you'll have more downtime. So just take that into consideration as you're evaluating all of the different things. So we have just reviewed a lot of different features and considerations for you to review as you're evaluating different far infrared products. If you feel that the Biomat is something that you'd like to explore further, or if you're finding that it is a yes and it is the right thing for you, then please contact me at 1-800-595-1619, or you can visit my website, livhealthy.tv. My name again is Jennifer Lyall, and I'd be delighted to support you with answering any questions or help you with making your purchase. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your listening. I really appreciate your trust, and I wish you good health, and please reach out if I can be of assistance. Have a great day.